matter of Edward Kine versus Johnson.
For the record, this matter is before the court to review defendant mother's parenting time. The court would also note there are pending motions. Both the plaintiff and defendant filed motions to modify custody and parenting time. The hearing this morning is being conducted via Zoom. Present is attorney Hassan Hamad, representing the plaintiff father, Edward Kine. Mr. Kine is present. In addition, defendant mother, Shimane Johnson, is also present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The parties have conferred at length with our Monroe County front of the court. Ms. Patrick, who has provided the court with fine recommendation that the defendant mother shall have parenting time every Thursday at 5 p.m. until Sunday at 5 p.m. commencing September 19th, 2024, which is Thursday of this week. The parties shall exchange the minor child at the police station in Rockwood, Michigan. The parties shall use AppClose to communicate with each other regarding the minor child. The parties shall use the front of the court holiday schedule unless they can agree otherwise. And finally, the issue of custody and parenting time shall be referred to the front of the court for formal investigation and recommendation. That is the recommendation this morning. Mr. Amado, is this recommendation agree with your client?
So, Your Honor, we have a concern, and I can address it with the court if the court's...
So in answer to the court's question, is this recommendation is not agreeable with your client? Is that the response?
It is agreeable if Miss Johnson lives in Monroe, and we don't believe she lives in Monroe.
Okay. All right. Did you inquire during your conversation with Miss Patrick and Miss Johnson where she resides?
Miss Johnson indicated she lives in Monroe with her father, her maternal father. We believe if you get her father on the phone right now, my client's indicated, he will tell you she does not live with him.
Okay, so you want her parenting time to occur in Monroe County, is that correct?
That's correct, because the 4-hour drive to where we believe she lives is up north.
Okay, well, but she's got to do the driving. I mean, she's got to drive to Rockwood. It's a long drive for a 4-year-old.
That's what I told Mr. Kine. I said if she's doing it every weekend, if that's the case, and you know.
All right. All right, Ms. Johnson, we'll turn to you. Do you understand the recommendation?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection to the court adopting this recommendation?
No, I do not.
Okay. Where will you be exercising your parenting time?
In Monroe, and is it okay if we do vacation to northern Michigan? I have a son who lives there who would love to spend time with his sister.
Well, it's appropriate that you would notify the AppClose dad where you're going. If you're not going to be in Monroe and you're leaving Monroe, your father's home, where do you live? Do you live up north or do you live here in Monroe?
I have a part-time stay, and I do have a residence that I part-time stay at in Alpena, Michigan, as well as Monroe. I stay with my father in Monroe. It's on Pine Tree.
Okay. Are you employed?
I'm not employed currently. Okay. I'm a full-time student, and I'm seeking employment. I'm just not currently employed at the moment.
Do you go to school online?
I do. And okay. I do make extra money through from not being employed. I make money through Uber and Instacart, DoorDash, stuff like that.
So you have two mailing addresses. You have a mailing address and a residence up north as well as one in Monroe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Your Honor, and sorry to, but that's the problem. Like Miss Patrick, myself, and both plaintiff and defendant were in the room, right? She never said she had a dual residence, and she was we can't take anything Miss Johnson says with transparency, and that's the concern for us. If you live in Monroe, you live in Monroe. If you don't live in Monroe, say I don't live in Monroe. It's very simple. I mean, this is the issue here.
I do live in Monroe, and it never got to the point in the other room with Miss Patrice. I do not live in Alpena. I visit there frequently because I have a child there. I have family there. I have a whole life that I had there before I had came back down here. So yes, I do visit there.
Your Honor, we believe.
All right. Hang on. It's a long, Mr. Johnson, if we're going back and forth, that's a long time to have a 4-year-old in the car. Any human being in a car that long. So the court's going to modify the recommendation. Your parenting time should be alternating weekends. Alternating weekends, Thursday at 5 till Sunday at 5. Alternating weekends beginning this weekend. Not every weekend. It's too much for that child. And Mr. Hamad, the court is not presented with any evidence that their child's in danger at this house in Alpena. If you think the environment is inappropriate, you can petition the court with some proof that that environment with an Alpena is harmful or inappropriate for the child. So the court will grant mother parenting time. We'll set it every other weekend, Thursday at 5 to Sunday at 5, meeting at the Rockwood Police Department, and begin this Sunday. So it's a long drive for that your child, Ms. Johnson. You got to contemplate where you want to live. There's got to be some stability in this child's life. So driving that far to be alternating weekends. And once we get the recommendation regarding parenting time and child support and custody from the front of the court, Mr. Ahmad, you can renotice that for hearing. Anything further this morning?
Yes, just to let the court know that the the minor has been registered in Taylor at Johnson Early Childhood Center, which will start September 30th. And it is Monday through Thursday, which will not conflict with the court's ruling on parenting time.
Okay, and obviously he should provide that information to Ms. Johnson where the child's at school.
We will through the app close, yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Johnson, any questions?
I'm a little confused on the parenting time. So it's
alternating
Thursday.
weekends. Alternating weekends, Thursday at 5 until Sunday at 5. You meet at the Rockwood Police Department. And then it'll begin this weekend, September 19th, Thursday of this week. And then alternating weekends thereafter. Not every weekend, but alternating weekends.
It's not every weekend.
It's every other.
Correct. Every other weekend.
Okay.
And the main reason is because it's a long drive for that 4-year-old child.
We don't live in Alpena. We have visit there, but we don't have to go there. I mean, it's just, I don't understand why the courts can't go back to week on, week off.
It's a lot for this child. You said you're living at both places. You have no permanent address. You have both places.
Personally,
So,
not
Ms.
the child.
The front of the court's going to reach out to you. Hopefully they got your address, and they're going to conduct a formal investigation recommendation. Once they've done that, you'll both get a copy of the report in writing, and then we can come back and discuss these matters again at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. If you can modify your recommendation, Ms. Patrick, I would appreciate that. And I will conclude this hearing. Everyone can zoom out. Have a good rest of the day.